haven't seen these Mongols before.
Feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky. I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right and make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It does not matter who the host is today. Oh, my Lord, it's much darker than anticipated inside of this joint. Let's see. Today's Wednesday, August the 18th of 2021, day 230th of the year, and only 135 days left to go. Can you believe it already? Only 135 left to go before we get the hell out of here. Wow, that's something to think about. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. And then we're also hanging out with our friends and our colleagues at that other joint that we do stuff at. Radio Big. So yes, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm. So anyways, what do you got going on today? Anything fun, anything exciting, that you and I are getting to spend some time today together. So I always find that as the most exciting part of my day, as you and I get to do the things that we do together. Without that, there's not much going on inside of my life. I'm just glad that we get to spend some time here. So if you're not familiar with the show, the way that it kind of goes this way. We talk to some professional broadcasters. They give their point of view. Then I jump back in and we talk a little bit some more about what the hell I have going on inside of the world of the news, my point of view is, and so on. You have the opportunity to hang out with me inside of a chat box if you want to do that. You can actually just go to whatever social media platform that you're on, as long as it's playing live. We can interact in real time there. So that's the fun part there. So Petrica, I'm glad that you're here too. I cannot butcher this other name, so I will not try to say it. So thanks for the people that are popping up already inside of the box, inside of that. And then if you are on the radio station side, or if you're on actually on the app side of the house, if the podcast is kind of late behind the story, but you can always actually text in at 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1 for us to get it moving and grooving and all that kind of stuff. Let's do some fake applause. And so then we can get that moving and going. So anyways, let me tell you what was trending in the overnight, because we're always talking about that. So let's talk about the nonfiction category and the fiction category from the New York Times bestsellers list. So at number 5 in the nonfiction category is The Premonition. At number 4, The Body That Keeps the Score. At number 3, I Alone Can Fix It. Boy, have I heard that one before. At number 2, Here Right Matters. Here Right Matters. At number 1, American Marxism. So there you go. If you're looking for the fiction category, we're going to go the other way around. Number 5 is People We Meet on Vacation. At number 4, It Ends With Us. There you go. That sounds a little spooky ooky. Blind Tiger is the next one. At number 2, The Last Thing He Told Me. And at number 1, Billy Summers is number 1, written by Stephen King. Do I see a suntan? Actually, I don't think so, Mr. Nichols, but appreciate you asking. If anything, I would say that I'm probably on the equation of losing my tan, if anything. I haven't really hung out in the sun for a long period of time. So thanks for popping into the box. There you go. So let's get this moving and grooving right away. I'm going to bring my friends in at some feature story news. I think I'm going to bring my friends in at feature story news, and they're going to talk about what the hell's going on inside of this planet. And let's see where it happens from there, because I think that's going to be the other fun part of the equation. So let's take a look.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature story news in London. I'm Ollie Barrett. The Taliban's top political leaders have returned to Afghanistan from Qatar after the militant group took the country. It comes as a series of countries continue attempts to extract their citizens from Afghanistan and Afghan staff who've worked for them. The UK says it hopes to secure international support to resettle Afghan refugees. London's announced details of a scheme which will see up to 20,000 refugees accepted from Afghanistan over 5 years, with 5,000 eligible in the first 12 months. Home Secretary Priti Patel is facing criticism about the scale of the plan.
We'll be working with local councils around the country, with the devolved governments as well, to ensure that we can support those people. This isn't just about bringing people over, this is about resettlement. Resettling people so that they can begin a new life in the United Kingdom. We cannot accommodate 20,000 people all in one go. This is effectively a new humanitarian route, a resettlement scheme that obviously is coming in addition to the work that we are doing right now to remove Afghan nationals who've worked with our armed forces.
Despite much of the Australian state of New South Wales being in lockdown for over a week, Delta COVID-19 infection rates continue to go up. The state recorded another 633 new cases in the last 24 hours, another record increase. Sean Bindley reports.
In warning that the state has not yet seen the worst of the outbreak, Premier Gladys Berejiklian says people are continuing to flout isolation rules. New South Wales Police yesterday issued over 700 penalty notices for breaching public health orders.
According to the data we have, every person who has the virus is spreading it to at least more than one person. Now, for us to know that we've reached our peak, that can't continue. We haven't seen the worst of it.
South Sudan's President Salva Kiir is threatening to pull out of a peace process with opposition groups over increased violence in the country. President Kiir's threat comes a day after 2 Catholic nuns and 3 other people were killed on their way to the capital, Juba, when armed men ambushed the vehicle they were travelling in. Patrick Oyet reports from FSN's bureau in Juba.
President Salva Kiir is blaming armed opposition group for increased violence in the country. More than 30 people have been killed in the past 3 days, including 2 Catholic nuns who are returning to the capital Juba after attending prayers in the eastern part of the country. President Kiir is accusing armed opposition group for the attacks and killings. South Sudan's government is currently negotiating with that armed group to peacefully lay down their arms, but President Kiir says he is now reconsidering continuing with the peace talks that has been going on in Rome. President Kiir's government signed a cessation of hostilities agreement with the holdout group, but violence has not ended.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. If you want to understand the global uncertainty created by President Biden's botched military withdrawal from Afghanistan, you only had to be a fly on the wall in the White House briefing room on Tuesday. His national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, took a series of questions from foreign reporters stationed in Washington. A South Korean correspondent wanted to know if the U.S. might now suddenly pull troops out of the peninsula.
The president, as he has said repeatedly, has no intention of drawing down our forces from South Korea.
An Australian reporter reflected fury in government corridors in Canberra.
There's a lot of anger in Australia this morning. What would be your response to those people who are trapped and some are fearing execution.
We do take some responsibility for our allies and partners in Afghanistan, and we'll be eager to work with Australia to help get out Australian citizens and other individuals who the Australians would like to see get out.
And there was a fruitless exchange over whether America would one day defend Taiwan, if needed, against Chinese aggression.
When it comes to Taiwan, it is a fundamentally different question in a different context. And so from our perspective, what we need to focus on, well, I'm sorry, if I'll take the next question if you won't let me answer.
He claimed America's international relationships were sacrosanct, but many of them have been badly shaken by the events of the past week. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And to recap the top stories, the Taliban's top political leaders have returned to Afghanistan. The UK says it hopes to secure international support to resettle Afghan refugees. Despite much of the Australian state of New South Wales being in lockdown for over a week, Delta COVID-19 infection rates continue to go up, and South Sudan's president's threatening to pull out of a peace process with opposition groups over increased violence. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, I definitely know that you're taking a listen to something. I am not 100% sure if it's magical, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on, of course, as you've already heard, first thing this morning as you and I are hanging out doing the things that we're doing. What's your favorite car? Probably the Tesla Cybertruck, because it doesn't exist in real format yet. Thank you, Abigenge, for that one. Is it better to stream from your console or your PC? How come I get this question ever so frequently? I would assume that your PC would probably be a dominating force depending on the power of your PC. But thanks for the question, and I guess it was a funny answer. Okay, so let's talk about some things that are going on. It is 16 minutes past the top of the hour.
Duh.
You and I are hanging out this morning, doing the things that we do. So I have to tell you, because, this is the things that we do. We talk about what's going on. So yesterday in the county that I live in, there was 291 COVID cases just around the area with children. So the funny part is there's this mad dash of emails being sent out to parents to immediately come and pick up their children yesterday. Seeing it coming around in the area. Now, the reason that I'm mentioning this, because one of the schools that was affected in the area was one that was close to my house. And of course, it was kind of funny just I shouldn't say it's funny because it's not funny, but it was interesting taking a look on the expectancies on when these things occur, on how quick your child's supposed to be picked up. Now, the interesting part about the whole thing, as we are bringing this up, is the children were exposed on Friday. The children were exposed on Friday. Today, so then we're talking Tuesday, and it's an immediate thing for these children to come and be picked up, which was just mesmerizing to me on how quick they needed to be picked up in that particular regard. So it was interesting talking to some of the people in my neighborhood about what was going on. Don't know why I felt the reason to bring that thing up right away, but I thought it was pretty interesting on the turn about it. But anyways, let's get into the news right away. U.S. health officials are working on a plan to get Americans a COVID-19 booster. According to the Associated Press, the third dose would be administered 8 months after receiving the second shot, and only after the FDA formally approves the vaccine. Currently, the plan is to begin administering the booster shots as soon as the mid to late summer. Among the first to receive them would be the healthcare workers, nursing home residents, and older Americans. So there you go. A lot of stuff right away as we are seeing that happen. So kind of an interesting one as we're talking. So when you start hearing about the booster, we're talking about the booster here. What do you think right away? Does it come to mind where you say, okay, cool, we need to make sure that you're boostering it up? Or do you turn around and go, not doing it? I mean, I don't even know where you stand. Yes, you. You, where you stand with this thing. We've had so many conversations throughout the last few months about this, but it continues to go on, and we're talking about it all the time. Now, I live in a weird state because we've told you this before. Florida health officials has reported 600%, I did say 600% increase in the levels of COVID-19 RNA concentration detected in Orange County wastewater since sampling began in mid-May. Orange County is where one of the dozens of partaking in the national water surveillance in partnership with the CDC. Sampling for the virus can help predict the spread and where the outbreaks occur. About 65% of the 1.4 million residents are fully vaccinated. That's just the area that I live in. And apparently our main story news is talking about this today, which is just I'm flabbergasted about the whole thing in regards of when we talk about it. So, I don't know. Committed. orgasmically. Wow, that's pretty nice. Nice stream will follow. Okay, well, cool. Hopefully you're enjoying what we have going on here, because we're always constantly talking about the weirdness of the world, so don't worry about that. Anyways, if you want to join in, jump in, and all that kind of fun stuff, you can text in at 866-930-SFM1, or you can go into the social media chat boxes, as long as we're streaming live on that social media aspect of the whole thing. And I did say live. If you're watching a record, sorry about that, buddy, but I can't help you out. Anyways, the death toll from Saturday's 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Haiti has risen over 1,400. Last night, I think the reports were saying closer to 1,900, with more than 6,000 people injured. Thousands of people are displaced, and many cities are experiencing intermittent blackouts. Schools, hospitals, offices, churches were destroyed or badly damaged in the quake. So a lot of stuff going on inside of that neck of the woods for sure, as we are talking this morning in regards of that. So keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. And if you are able to help in regards of raising funds to help build the community back together there, don't hesitate to do so. And that's not a joke. That's serious business, as we are talking.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
So anyways, let's continue talking. California firefighters struggle to battle the nation's largest wildfire, moving towards a Northern California city as winds gusts of up to 40 miles per hour hit the area yesterday. Forecasters issued red flag warnings of critical fire weather conditions early Tuesday, warning residents in the path that they need to be ready to evacuate their homes. I mean, you don't have to tell me twice that one. I'm getting the hell out of there as soon as I can. That's not a joke there. Two wrongs don't make a right. I agree with you. Thanks for that. So forecasters issued a red flag warning of critical fire weather conditions early Tuesday. Warnings and residents in this path, they need to be ready to evacuate. The Dixie Fire has scorched more than 940 square miles since it ignited back on July the 13th, and less than a third has been contained. So there you go. You've been waiting for me. What does that even mean? What have you been waiting for? I've been here for the last 22. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. When people post stuff like you're waiting for me, I don't think you're waiting for me. Maybe you're late to the game. Here's the thing too. If you start off inside of this thing, depending on where you're at, you could be minutes and minutes behind from where we're actually at. So that's kind of the way that the streamers work, unless you have it turned on for it to do the live portion of it. Buenos días, hola, haciendo la pregunta como una hola. No entiendo, porque no me estás haciendo la pregunta sin la pregunta. Yeah, sin la pregunta. La pregunta es hola. No, but me lo puedes decir en español cuando quiera. Anyways, let's continue. Tropical storm Fred, which made landfall on Florida on Monday, moved to the southeastern states yesterday. Portions of Georgia were in tornado watch, and residents in North Carolina were warned about an increased risk of landslides in the mountains. Meanwhile, tropical storm Grace passed over Haiti, which is still recovering from last weekend's earthquake and is on the track to hit Jamaica and southern Cuba. Grace is not a threat to the U.S. currently. So there you go. A lot of weird stuff, of course, going on with the weather, but we kind of always get to this portion of the year, and that's what we start talking about, because that's what's happening inside of the neck of the woods. You are a what? I don't get it. If you could explain to me better what that means, I would probably be able to jump across here and go from there. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more. Donald Gorski likes his Big Macs. The Wisconsin man likes them so much that he has eaten 32,340 of them, a Guinness World Record over the past 50 years. Gorski has eaten 2 of the 563 calorie burgers on a daily basis since he was 17 years of age, and has kept every container and receipt, which organizes boxes and pouches by the year, according to the Guinness. As his health of the 67-year-old said that the blood sugar and cholesterol remain low, which he chalks up to sticking with just Big Macs and not foregoing the fries. Okay, so I mean, that's really some love there. Some big love when it comes to the whole aspect of the Big Mac. I mean, you can do you. I mean, but I don't know if that's going to be something that I would stick with. But that's just me in general and how that particular regards. Do you watch Game of Thrones? My answer is no. And I don't think a lot of people watch it either because it's no longer airing. I'm just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. Suzanne Big Mouth. So just throwing that out there. No longer exists. And didn't a lot of people hate the last season? I never watched the show. I mean, I know what it is. Couldn't tell you what it's about or anything along those lines. Anyways, New Zealand government is locking down the entire nation for a few days after a single case of coronavirus was reported. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern urged the 5 million residents to go hard and early in trying to eliminate the latest outbreak. The announcement prompted a wave of panic buying, with people lining up outside of supermarkets to get the essentials. The last outbreak on the country was in February. Only 18% of the residents are vaccinated. So there you go. Hold on. What is this? Emery worship. I can't wait to get married later in life. Okay. I'm glad. I'm happy you're sharing that you can't wait. Do you already have somebody in mind that this is happening with? And do they already know that this is part of what's supposed to be taking place? I'm just asking.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, it was just a question. It was a legitimate question. It wasn't anything that I was trying to be derogatory with. I'd take it all personal there. Okay, anyways, let's continue talking real quick. Moms with young children increased their alcohol consumption by nearly 323% between the start of COVID pandemic and the end of last year, according to a new study. The study conducted by a nonprofit, RTI International, for the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, looked at and analyzed the pandemic effects on American drinking habits. The general recommendation of drinking guidelines for men are allow up to 4 drinks per day, but no more than 14 drinks per week. Hold on, my math is terrible when it comes to that, because that doesn't make a lot of sense. For women, it is more than 3 drinks in a 7 days. Hold on, no more than 3 drinks a day or 7 drinks a week. The math is kind of shousty here, as they say out there. That's for sure. When it comes to that. Anyways, Americans exceeding those guidelines increased by 27% from February to April in 2020, and then jumped 39% between February to November, according to the study. So this should actually tell you quite a lot about your workplace. I mean, we could all fall into that category. Unfortunately, I don't fall into that category because I don't drink, so I can't tell you that unless it's a good tequila. We've talked about this about 1,000 times before.
Duh.
So I don't want to bore you one more time with that whole conversation, but you know where I'm going here. Anyway, so more women reported exceeding drinking guidelines than men between April to November of last year. So there you go. So it's kind of a fun thing. Why do they try to beat you when they know that they can't? I don't know. Are you talking about my bad math? That's the only thing that I can assume that you're talking about. Anyways, parents in Wilmington, Delaware school district are being offered $700 to drive their kids to and from school for the year due to a shortage of bus drivers. A spokesperson for the Eastside Charter School told the Washington Post that they are funneling the transportation budgets to students' families to offer them a stipend for driving and picking up their own children. Parents of about 155 students out of roughly 500. Hold on, parents, roughly have signed up so far, and the paper has reported. The lack of bus drivers is an issue plaguing the district across the country, with many schools delaying the start of school with hopes of picking up more drivers. So hold on, you're delaying school because you're trying to pick up more drivers? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm just throwing that out there, something to think about. So there you go. Let's continue talking a little bit more. Let me bring some Johnny Smalls inside of here to actually lighten up our life. And not because we're going to do Motivation Minute at the moment. We're going to talk about the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, August 18th, 2021. The S&P 500 pulled back Tuesday, entering another correction. The question on the minds of traders right now is whether this is a small C correction or a big C correction. If it's a little C correction, the market will likely find support within the next day or two, begin regrouping, and then resume in an uptrend sometime next week. If it's a big C correction, the market could drop another 1,900 basis points or down to levels not seen since October or November of 2020. The reason for the move is simple. stable, increasing signs of peak recovery and an unexpected slowdown in economic activity. The latest evidence is retail sales figures for July. They fell 1.1% versus the 0.1% expected by the analysts, confirming weakness foreshadowed by the consumer confidence figures. If the data continues to come in weak, the S&P 500 is due for a big revaluation. That could easily drive share prices down a full 20% from the recent highs. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, for letting us know what's going on inside of the market. And I'm with you over there. What did you say? Committed to, yeah, whatever, we know your name. Love hearing Johnny Smalls. Yeah, LMFO. I don't know if it's kind of funny what's going on inside of the stock market, but definitely something worth talking about for sure. Anyway, so let's talk about some other things. Tuesday session of the Wall Street. Are we going to say the Wall Street Journal or the Wall Street movie? Saw the Dow plunge about 282 points. The NASDAQ dipped about 137 points. And the S&P receded 31 points. Retail spending data showed a slowdown with consumer spending, and Commerce Department reported sales dropped about 1.1% in July compared to June. Walmart finished flat as it reported earnings that it easily beat expectations during the most recent quarter. Same-store sales saw gains, but e-commerce transitions slowed down. So something to think about here as we are talking about it, because here's the thing. I don't know. A lot of people are still, contemplating on what the hell is going to happen next. And I'm still waiting for future telling because I have not met a fortune teller that's accurate on regards of what's going on. So just something to think about. So not sure what's going to happen, and I don't think that a lot of us know what exactly is going to happen, but that's kind of the way that the world goes. Anyways, let's get into the main story because we are here right now talking about it. So let's get close to what the hell is going to happen next year.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So I don't know if you're big into titling or if you don't care on when you see titles and what the show here is about, but let's talk about it. So here you go. Be empty when it comes to problem solving. That was the title of the show this morning. If you did take a look around as we were hanging around when we were populating the box and all that kind of fun stuff. So it was kind of interesting. I was taking a listen to a story yesterday, hanging out, doing the things that we do. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. I don't care what level of business you're in, what kind of business you're in, but at some point during your business, there is somebody who's going to come to you with a problem. There is someone who's going to come with you with wanting to have your opinion of a problem that they might be having. If you're in sales, you already know that you're normally kind of a problem solver. You sell something that supposedly solves people's problems. There's other things that end up taking place all the time as we are talking in regards of problems, especially if you're inside of the world that we normally interact with, which is the world of safety. Now, I want you to think about this for just a brief moment, but think about the time that you've went into listening to somebody's problem and you want to actually help them, but you already have a solution in mind before you get there. Has this happened? And seriously, has this happened to you before? And the reason that I'm asking the question this morning is because there's a lot of times that we want to get new information. There's a lot of times that we want to go out and about and have a better understanding of the things that are happening, but we already have a default answer or a plan of something that might end up occurring before we get there. And you know this. I know this because this happens all the time. And it's amazing to me that you might go to a lecture or you might go to a coach or you might go somewhere where you want to have an interaction with someone. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, they're assisting you with problem solving. And all of a sudden, you are already stopping them. And you're interrupting them with what they're assisting you with the problem solving. So I want you to hear this real quick. So I'm listening to this story yesterday. And this gentleman is actually going to a doctor that he's attempting to get information from. But every time that this doctor, philosopher, we'll talk about that kind of doctor, philosopher, telling them what exactly needed to be done, the person kept on interrupting them with their previous experience. And all of a sudden, every single time they were being interrupted by previous experience. And being interrupted, they would stop. So all of a sudden, the doctor stops. And he brings a glass of water. And he puts this glass of water in front of this person that he's talking to. And he takes the water and he pours it into the glass. And the glass all of a sudden starts overfilling. The guy starts telling him, hey, hold on, stop. There's water going all over the place. And the doctor stops, /philosopher, and tells him, listen, when you come here to talk to me, for me to be able to share my knowledge base with you, you need to come with your cup empty, not with your cup halfway full, not with predetermined notions inside of it. Now, this sounds, a little hogwashy if you really think about it for a moment, but he turns around and he says, you can't come with anything inside of this cup because you're not ready to learn from someone if you already come with preconceived notions on what you are expecting to hear. And I was thinking about that. And it's amazing that even when we're doing, I know that even when we're looking at things and people are going, hey, we're acquiring you because of your knowledge base, sometimes it's easy for us to default back into some of the things that we've done in our past. It's easy to kind of to take a look around and go, well, this is what we've seen previously, so more than likely this is going to be what ends up happening, and yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm talking about there? So I don't know. I keep on taking a look at this. And I keep on looking around and I go, what do we need to do to become better students of the games that we do? How do we become better students of the things that we have going on, opposed to it just being preconceived notions before we get there? Because I'll tell you, I've went to accident investigations. I've went into conferences or into meetings with clients and already go, okay, well, before I get there, I already know what their problem is. It's X, Y, and Z. And I don't know if that's really the story anymore. I don't really know if this is the case that we need to be looking at, or if it's something that we take a look around and go, it's something entirely different. So I don't know. A lot of stuff to think about as we are talking this morning. So I don't know. Wanted to bring that into you, bring that general information, your general direction this morning, and really just have you think for a moment. Really sit back and go, what makes the most logical sense? What makes the most logic when it comes to this whole thing? Because the funny part, or the weird part, depending on how you want to take a look at it, is when it's all said and done, you have to be prepared for the unexpected, because when things don't go exactly the way that you plan, all of a sudden it throws everything off for you. It throws everything off that your whole game plan has changed. Your whole game plan is entirely different now because you had X expectation. So when you are going to solve a problem, what if your cup was empty? So be empty when it comes to problem solving. How much different would life be if you walked in with not already knowing the answer, just waiting to see what all occurred before you actually give an answer? Something entirely different to think about this morning. But then again, what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Things turn around. Didn't ever think they could. I'm done with the bad. I need a little bit of good. Settle in the world like everything is new. Stepped on a path that led me straight to you.
Oh, I stepped on a path. I thought he said I stepped on a pad. I was like, what kind of pad are you stepping on there, buddy? Anyways, there you go. I want to get high on you. That sounds dirty. Anyways, that's Elwin. That song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thanks for Elwin for allowing us to play this one here on the Rated Safety Show. So there you go. What a troll. Oh my God. You're talking about trolls. I should probably bring this up. This is hilarious. And should I bring this up? It's probably not even a story worth talking about now that I think about it. Anyways, you got it. I want to get high on you. So, there you go. Thanks for letting us take a play of that. You know how it goes. By the way, I was amazed. Let me see if I can find it real quick. About the amount of people that contacted us. Where is it? It was the song that we played a few days ago. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because a lot of people reached out about that one. This one right here, for some reason, it seemed like this one was the one that people liked. I think this was Monday's song. Yeah, that was the one that I was like, hey, it sounds straight out of the early 2000s. So anyways, a double ender there. So there you go. Let's get it moving and grooving real quick. It is 43 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are hanging out together doing the things that we do. So there you go. For those of us who live out in the U.S., you might want to hear this. CBS will mark the 50-year anniversary of contestants coming down for The Price is Right with a 2-hour primetime special next month. It's set for September the 30th, with the special will take a look back at the biggest winners that never before seen outtakes, and a salute to Bob Barker. More than 68,000 contestants have played The Price is Right since they debuted back in September the 4th of 1972, with over 2 million plus have been in the studio audience, and the first prize ever offered on the show was a Chevy Vega worth $2,800. Some 8,400 cars have been given away ever since then. So there's something to talk about right away as we are talking on this lovely morning. So there you go. Did you hear about this too? The crowd. Couples who sleep apart may not only be saving their relationship, but saving their health as well. According to a study of Better Sleep Council, their research found that more than 25% of couples have gone through sleep divorce, where they either sleep in a different room or in two beds in the same room. The older you are, the more likely you are to sleep apart, with 16% of those older than 55 saying that they sleep in separate bedrooms. That's more than double of those who are 35 to 54, 7%, and significantly higher than those 18 to 34, about 3%. While many believe that sleeping in separate beds is a sign that the relationship is on the rocks, it's actually opposite. The survey found that 1 in 3 people say that their bed partner has a negative impact on their own sleep. Sleep deprivation is in connection of sleep issues, including diabetes, obesity, heartbeat disease, and depression, as well as irritability and poor job satisfaction, and yes, relationship woes. The survey found that women's sleep suffers more than men's because women are more sensitive to their sleep environment. So let me mention this out loud, because that's going to be the interesting thing. If you're sleeping in other rooms, do you have like a room for the stuff that you do? I mean, I'm just asking the question. Where are you doing all the other stuff? I'm just kind of wondering, if you're sleeping in separate rooms, what's going on there?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I wasn't even done. But what if we sleep apart? Would we be back at cool with our? Would we keep my back cool with somebody else's freezing feet? I mean, I don't know. Do you enjoy hanging out with girls? Is that a question related to this story? Because that's kind of a weird timing on that. So I appreciate it. Hang on a second. I just realized that when my wife said that I'm great in bed, she meant that I barely move and I don't snore. Oh, okay. So that's an interesting one. And my wife and I sleep apart half the time. I'm a morning man and I get up at 3:30 in the morning. So there you go. So maybe that's part of the reason. Now here's the funny thing. Because of what I do for work, I normally have to get up significantly early, and this is not a joke. But believe it or not, my wife is normally up before me, so that's even more interesting. Yes, we do have a Twitter. So which one do you want? Tanstacia. Our Twitter is which one is the Twitter? It is at Safety FM or at We Are Radio Big. We Are Radio Big. So there you go. Those are the two options that we have available. And I think I have a personal. Do I have a personal Twitter? I think I have a personal Twitter. Do I use that? Should tell you how frequently I use it. Anyways, 47 minutes past the top of the hour. Hear me out. Not hear me out, but hair me out. Bald may be beautiful, but most people would rather keep their hair. And now, thanks to some of the researchers in China, it may be possible to get it back. They have developed a patch which can prevent baldness in both men and women. Male pattern baldness becomes a permanent because the body doesn't have enough blood vessels surrounding the hair faucet, during, I guess, where your hair is located to deliver the necessary nutrients. And the scientists have came up with a microseeding patch that stimulates a formation of new blood cells around where your hairline is actually at, leading to hair regrowth. A test on mice has led to a faster hair regrowth and similar coverage in comparison to leading topical treatment for baldness. Topical hair treatment also needs to be applied more frequently than the patch. So here you go. Who knew that there was such a thing as a mouse pattern baldness? Because that's something to think about right away. The other thing is that the other option, of course, is not to have kids. That would be another way to save your hair. And then the great thing is that it can help bald guys make their remaining days, I guess, better. I guess I don't know. We should probably start talking about baldness more often. How have you been? I've been excellent. Thanks for asking. Super hungover from a party last night. Hold on, you went to a party on a Tuesday night? You see how I'm blaming there? So I don't know. I mean, you can go to parties on a Tuesday night. Can you tell me a little bit more about the party? I'm always intrigued by that. Benefit since Sepict. Nice cheese face on the kid. That's a great picture there, by the way. Thanks for throwing that up. Not thanks for throwing up. Thanks for throwing that up there. Because now I have the throw up story confused with something else. Man, that sounds just terrible.
More sarcasm with an Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, vehicle manufacturer Audi has unveiled its latest concept car. It's a game changer. Not that it's the shapeshifter or a Skype Fear, but it can the Skype Fear can not only drive itself, but when it makes transition from human driving to self-driving, the body of the car expands by 10 inches or 25 centimeters from end to end. The concept car long hood extends forward and the steering wheel pedals fold away. The driver's side of the car, of the dashboard and the gear selector also pulls away. I don't know if I like this because then all of a sudden all this stuff just vanishes. That's weird. That is weird. Creating a more comfortable space for the driver to relax. A pair of blankets are rolled up behind the driver's seats, ready to be used on the occupation that he would like to take it now while the Skyfear drives itself. Why may a car shift shape depending on whether the human is driving? Audi says that self-driving vehicles can theoretically be safer than human driving, and the offers opportunities to rethink the car can be what the car can actually do. But one of the challenges is the consumer's adaptation of people who actually enjoy driving, at least some of the time. So here's the thing. So would you actually, if the car drove itself, would you allow it to drive itself as you took a nap? Because that's a weird one. I mean, I don't know. I don't even trust most people's driving. I don't know if I would be cool with a computer actually doing it by itself. So they've been working on self-driving cars for a while, but keep hitting one obstacle after another. That's been something that's been occurring. I mean, we talked about how the Teslas yesterday were being investigated because of them hitting actually essentially emergency vehicles. So instead of making a drive shorter, they made the car longer. So that's something to think about. And the good news, teenagers' car fatalities will plummet to record lows. The bad news, teenage pregnancy rates will skyrocket. So that's definitely something to think about.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's talk about Did You Know? According to the old saying, revenge is a dish best served cold, but it seems that people prefer to strike right away, according to a new study. Despite the Hollywood depiction of people savoring sweet revenge after months of years of plotting, a team of the Virginia Commonwealth University found that 58% of us would prefer to take immediate revenge, even if it means dealing with a lesser blow to the enemy. The study also found that most of the 1,500 people surveyed would prefer quick revenge, even over receiving money. I don't know. Are you a revengeful person? I mean, I'm being serious as I mentioned that. I mean, because it's definitely something to think about. Revengeful in all that's dead. I mean, I don't know. Some stuff to think about for sure. So I don't know. I look at it and I go, how do you think about it? How does it come about and all that other kind of fun stuff? Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on real quick inside of the world of the news. SNL star Colin Jost, 39, and his wife, actress Scarlett Johansson, 36, are expecting their first child together. The comedian revealed the news in performing a stand-up gig at Rigid Field Playhouse in Connecticut over the weekend. Johansson already has a 6-year-old daughter named Rose from previous marriage. What do you mean he revealed it? This has already been talked about. This was actually going on during the promotion of the movie. I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it, but whatever. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things inside of the world here. Hold on. What is this? Photo of the day from the event editors. Taliban gunmen holding a group of women and children at gunpoint in front of the UN poster to celebrate gender equality. Well, I don't know if that's the greatest thing to be talking about here. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Let's talk about the lottery real quick. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $274 million jackpot or $197.7 million cash payout. So there you go. It's time to get my drink on. Hold on. Time to get my drink on. It's a little early for that. Well, at least where I'm located, it's a little early. But hey, you do you. You do what you need to do. Pain for pain does not ever turn out well. Well, that sounds very biblical there, Mr. Polzel. Thanks for the info. So let's continue talking about some other things real quick before we get too far away. Anyways, we're getting close to the end of the hour here. So if you want to come out and hang out and do some more things, I will be going over to radiobig.fm, doing the things that we do over there on that side of the planet. So come out, hang out, and we'll do some things there. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. So if we take a look real quick, back in 2017, researchers discovered the USS Indianapolis 18,000 feet below the Pacific surface. The ship sunk 72 years prior during World War II after being struck by a Japanese torpedoes. Of the 1,196 men aboard, 800 made it into the water. The remaining men began the horrendous 4-day ordeal in the water, being picked off by sharks and suffering from heat, thirst, and exhaustion. On the 4th day, the U.S. naval plane spotted the survivors, with only 300 being survived out of the whole thing. So there you go. That happened back on this day. Wow, that was not a good story to share. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays real quick. Jessie Flower turns 27 today. She's the voice from the Avatar, The Last Bender, Meet the Robinsons. Micah turns 38 today. Andy Samberg turns 43. Malcolm Jamal Warner turns 51. Christian Slater turns 52. Edward Norton 52. Ron Skyrick turned 64 today. Dennis Elliott turned 71, and Robert Redford. Yeah, Robert Redford. You know that guy. Yeah. He turns 85 today. Anyways, if you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, let's do those real quick. National Fajita Day, National Mail Order Catalog Day, National Ice Cream Pie Day, Bad Poetry Day. I guess that would be any day if you're hanging out here. And then Congressional Startup Day. So those are the things that are going on real quick. Anyways, let me tell you real quick before I forget about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities who have been impacted by suicide and depression. So, damn you, I just got on, I'm getting off. What? Damn you, just got on, I'm getting off. Okay, I didn't just get on. It's been like 50 some odd minutes there, bubba. I mean, you can always listen to us on the radio station. The radio station's fine. Won't hurt you. You'll be good. We'll talk about it. Anyway, so there you go. A lot of stuff. Are you married? Yes. When I'm talking about earlier that, yes, my wife wakes up before me, that would mean that I am married. But thank you for the question. I really do appreciate it. Anyways, let me give you some whack facts real quick before we get you out of here. Talk about those. Am I talking about whack facts? I think I'm talking about whack facts. Okay, so here it goes. Dogs have 42 permanent teeth, 10 more than humans. Lions and tigers can't purr, but cougars can. Saturn rings are 180,000 miles in diameter, but only about 10 yards in thickness. There is a city in Turkey called Batman. Coffee beans aren't beans, but they are actually fruit pits. One side effect of the list of aspirins are headaches. So there you go. That is the side effect of it. How often do I stream? I normally try to be here Monday through Friday if you want to come and hang out with us. Anyways, let's get to it because we're going to get you out of here real quick. Anyways, here's a couple of things. If you need a random joke for today, the problem with troubleshooting is that trouble shoots back. If you need a phone starter for today, what is the most dramatic way that you ever quit a job? Think about that. That can always be a fun one. And then if you need a question for the water cooler, try this one. 61% of women say that they have been upset with their partner because they did this while they were driving. What is it? Litter. Yes, litter is that particular answer. Okay, so that's it. That's all I got for you. If you want to come and hang out with me, I am going over to radiobig.fm. I'll be there for the next couple hours or so you can come hang out. We'll do some things together. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Never let your fear decide your future. Never let your fear decide your future. I have friends that have put their life on hold because they're deathly afraid of what exactly will happen next. Never let the fear decide your future. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on safetyfm.com and on radiobig.fm. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We can't do what we do without you, the most important part of Radio Big and Safety FM, and that is the listener. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.